You make a lot of sensible points. Let me also get into the conversation, Sharad Kohli. You want to make a point, Sharad, and particularly taking forward the conversation from Dikshu. You mentioned about sustainable projects. You talk about cities that are going to be able to sustain themselves in face of floods, in face of other climate change possibilities that are now becoming a reality. You take a look at Europe, you take a look at America, you take a look at other Asian countries. They're all under the grip of this climate change that is massive, that is so quite palpable and visible. Now, in a situation such as this, Delhi is actually not built to sustain floods. Neither is Gurgaon. We saw what happened in Noida. So in such a situation, are our current structures, current cities that have been built over the years really capable of fighting the fury of nature?
Well, Megha, I think you answered partly the question yourself as well, because we have to now look at development which is resistant to these climate changes. You know, extreme flood-like situations, extreme heat, extreme cold. You know, so along with sustainability, Megha, there is another very important aspect apart from what Dikshu was saying, and which I would like to add here, that when this kind of infrastructure is built, people's responsibility also comes. You were referring to sidewalks being made in Delhi, for example. We've seen, I was driving today through Lodi Road, and I saw very beautifully laid out, you know, those staircases which have been done. There are pieces of sculptures which have been installed in different places in Delhi. People who traveled to Delhi recently, they will see the difference that all of a sudden there is a beautification of the roads happening, the roadsides happening, the sidewalks happening, there are cycle tracks being built, there are walking tracks being built. But then, I think the sustainability is not just from climate or not just from the natural disaster. Sustainability is also mega for the responsibility of the common citizen. Because if people do not maintain it properly, this is the difference between when you go to Europe or when you go to America, and you find these places have been like that for years and years. There are basic mannerisms that people have. They will never spit, they will never litter. You know, those kinds of mannerisms have to be brought in. If there is a bin lying there, somebody will throw something not into the bin, he'll just cut short, he will not walk down to the bin, he'll just throw it on the sidewalk or on the road. I think that is very, very important. That government has done its job, the architects have done their job, the contractors have done their job, public money has been used to build this infrastructure. But what about us, the people? People have to now maintain it. People have to sustain it. Climate changes are fine. I totally agree with what Dikshu is saying, and I can't agree more with what he's saying. But then, at the same time, you know, common man, I think is the most important factor in sustainability of this infrastructure. Today, if you go to Pragati Maidan, now today this will be inaugurated. Yeah. Tomorrow when an exhibition takes place, and what if somebody starts vandalizing? You know, you see a showpiece there, and you start clicking pictures, and you feel I should take this home, or probably destroy it. If I can't uproot it, I might destroy it. So I think that kind of mindset has also to be changed. So I think through your program today, Megha, people who are watching, I would like to convey that we have a beautiful piece in our hand. Let us maintain it. Let us preserve it the way it has been built. Only then you will be able to enjoy for a very long time, because I know a lot of places, a lot of monuments, a lot of architectural marvels which have been created. They have been victims of people's, you know, or they have been victims of mannerism. Where somebody, I went to a place somewhere, I would not like to name here, I found somebody had spit the palm there. You know what happens if somebody does in a corner? Find palm, you know, the whole wall being painted with palm. Yes. I think this is not going to work. So I think the responsibility of the citizens is equally important. Megha is the point I wanted.
Absolutely. That's an important point. Sharad, taking a look at the commercial aspect of it, and that's equally important, if not more. Now, there are supply chains that are being built between India and the rest of the world. We have seen a global crisis, a new world order right after COVID that took place. India is becoming the alternative preferred destination for doing businesses. Ease of doing business at this point of time is at high priority for the government of India. So when businesses come, when there are entrepreneurs who are looking to set up their plants over here, the likes of Elon Musk and so many others, you know, green hydrogen summits are taking place. There are entrepreneurs who are interested in setting up plants over here. Semiconductors is what has been one of the important factors in building these supply chains and building these plants. the perception that the people carry, the perception that these business houses carry is then going to also improve India's chances of further building these business associations for more and more of these projects to then start their conception in India.
Oh yes, Megha, this has got a chain effect, because once you have one or two good industries coming and setting up here, it sends the message across the world. So it's got a double benefit. One, it sends the message across the world to other investors to come and invest, because they have got a precedent before them. And second is, it encourages domestic investment. It encourages a lot of MSMEs. It encourages a lot of entrepreneurs to come and be part of that supply chain. You know, a lot of innovations come in, lot of startups, they start flourishing. One single factory of, let's say, Maruti Suzuki in Gurgaon, I can tell you, I think Mr. Agarwal would agree with me, a whole lot of economy runs around that one factory. I mean, there are industrial hubs in Manesar, in the outer areas of Gurgaon, where these components are being built, where things are being assembled, they are being imported. So I think one industry gives rise to a mini economy, Megha, around the area, and it sends the message across the world that this is the place to do business. I won't say that we have reached the ultimate stage where, you know, all the investors can come and start manufacturing or setting up their factories. The China Plus One or decoupling from China has started gradually. There is a lot to be done. I mean, I would say that there is still a lot to be done in terms of whether it's ease of business, whether it is other kinds of reforms which are related to labor, which are related to land, which are related to clearances, of course, notwithstanding the recent example we had of BYD from China not being allowed to make an FDI with Megha, your namesake, Megha Engineering and Infrastructure. That was refused categorically for security reasons. But other than that, I think the doors are now opening, and government is very gradually moving in the direction where we will become the next factory of the world. I think if India has to be a developed nation by 2047, Make in India, Megha, is something which on top of my list as an economist, that if Make in India really works, I think we are going to make it as a developed world, undoubtedly.
Absolutely, you make all the right points. You make all the right conversation points, debate points, and absolutely. I was going to come to that. I was going to give you the example of the Nita Mukesh Ambani Culture Center that has been created. We need more and more of them. Right now, while the Prime Minister and the other dignitaries, the cabinet ministers are sitting over there, there was this magnificent performance of classical dances, Odissi dances, Kathak, Manipuri. They are all gathered over there giving that stupendous performance. And while we are talking about our Bollywood and folklore, we also need to focus on our classical dances, our musicians, our classical music, and showcase it to the world. And until and unless we have these culture centers, the magnitude of this Nita Ambani Culture Center, it would perhaps not make the same impact. And impact is what? Perception is the name of the game. When we go about, maybe we go in Europe, maybe go in London, we go visit the theaters, we go visit the opera houses, and we say, oh my God, that's amazing. Wow, why does India not have it? But the very point is that India has it. India has had it for a really long time. And unfortunately, the youth of our country, and in fact, generations have not been, brought to acquaintance with what rich culture that India has. So that aspect you very rightly pushed over there. And Sharad, couldn't have been put couldn't have been put in a better fashion to talk about how important this cultural and business amalgamation is then going to put India at the forefront of this new world order.
Well, I think culture and business, they go hand in hand for the people who think that business has got nothing to do with culture or vice versa. Both are not true. Culture by itself is a very big business these days. And a classic example is when the UP Chief Minister, Yogi Adityanath, the day he decided to go ahead with Yamuna Expressway and so many other things, developments along the highway, he declared a film city there as well. So I think culture brings people, brings businesses, because business is done with leisure. You cannot only be doing business and only culture, of course, is a different ball game. But then the two, they join together at some point. At each, like what we are witnessing right now, is a business convention center, and we see a cultural program going on there. So I think culture and business go hand in hand. The two cannot be segregated. You cannot develop business which is absolutely dry, which is bereft of culture. You cannot only talk business. So I think blending the two in the right manner is the way forward, which is what is being done. I mean, Pragati Maidan is not just going to serve for large G20 type conventions. Pragati Maidan, I'm sure, is going to serve as large cultural programs as well. I'm seeing somewhere in the corner Amir Khan sitting there.
Yeah.
Probably he's visualizing that if we probably do a Filmfare award there, or we do something of that sort, you never know what might happen tomorrow. This may get booked for so many things. So I think culture and business are inseparable, Megha. And when they merge together, obviously the commercials come into picture.
Absolutely. You know, let's quickly listen in to the Commerce Minister of our country, Piyush Goyal, who